Saturday morning, time to kick off the Experts program on Power Talk Radio, 1460 and 101 FM. And Luis Alvarez, CEO of the Alvarez Technology Group, is with us as we get going on the Experts program today and talk a little technology. Luis, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, my friend. How are you?
Doing very well. Ran across something in my Facebook feed today that came up in the news feed from the Social Security Administration, and it says that scammers are pretending to be government officials and sending pictures to prove it, and they're asking people to report this illegal activity to ssa.gov/scam, that scammers are pretending to work for the government, and of course the goal of the scammers is always to get your personal information, and in the case of Social Security folks, it is a way of getting your money, getting your benefits. One of the things that I wanted to play for us here was a video from the Federal Trade Commission that's partnered with the Social Security Administration on hanging up on Social Security scam calls. So let me play this. It's about a minute and a half here, and you can give a listen to what they're telling people.
I got a phone call. Someone identified himself as a representative of the Social Security office, and that a warrant, a no-bail warrant, had been issued for my arrest. I'm 83 years old, and it scared me to death.
The Social Security imposter scam is very widespread right now. What these scammers are trying to do is they're trying to induce a state of fear. They're trying to make you feel very, very panicked.
They actually said federal authorities, including an armed marshal, would appear at my door within the next 24 hours. That had me sort of feeling jittery.
Sometimes they'll ratchet up that anxiety by telling you that there are marshals or police officers or sheriff's deputies that are about to arrest you. That's very, very scary for people. So what they're doing is they're playing on your fear, on your anxiety, and on you wanting to do the right thing. That's how they're going to next try to control the next actions that you take.
And they told me to get in my car, drive to the store, and get a Google Play card and put the $500 on it and give them the number.
Once they've got those PIN numbers, they've got your money. So how do you take control back? Well, the first thing you want to do is just stop and take a breath.
And we've been down this road before, haven't we, Luis?
Yep. I mean, scammers know who are the most vulnerable people in our society, and older folks tend to take threats like this very seriously. They panic, they wonder how this could be happening to them, and they are quick to follow the instructions of scammers, whether it's, I can make this go away if you send me money, or if you even doing silly things like buying gift cards and reading them the number of the gift card from the back of the card. Those sorts of things are what scammers are trying to do. And sometimes they're even trying to do things like get your information, especially if they're pretending to be from the Social Security Administration, so that they can file a tax return pretending to be you, but sending it to wherever they happen to be. So when you file your official return, you'll find out that no, this Social Security number has already filed a return, and we've sent their refund check to this other address. Oh. And that's happened to a few people that I know, unfortunately, and it's just something that as long as they think they can get away with it, they're going to continue to try doing.
Right. One of the things is they go after older folks because they're unfamiliar with modern technology. Basically, the parade passed them by a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And for a lot of these people, high tech was a remote control to turn on and off their TV, like the original ones that came out in the 60s and 70s. That to them is high tech. So for them, the technology parade passed them by so long ago, they are completely befuddled by this stuff. It sounds plausible to them, and they will fall for it oftentimes hook, line, and sinker. And one of the things that we should caution our older listeners if they get a call like this is one of the things that the scammer will tell you is that you shouldn't share this information with anybody else. Don't tell your son or daughter or your grandchildren about this. And the real reason is because they know that if you tell somebody younger who's more conversant in modern technology, they'll immediately smell a rat and say, no, Mom, no, Dad, don't send the money. This is just a scam. So that's the first thing. And then the other thing that people must understand is that the governmental agencies, whether it's the IRS, the Social Security Administration, the Veterans Administration, the DMV, the Franchise Tax Board in California, your county tax assessor, they do not make telephone calls to citizens telling them that they owe money. Those things come to you in a official envelopes through U.S. snail mail. That's the only way they communicate with people, is through snail mail. They don't make telephone calls. So that ought to be the first tip-off. That somebody calling you and claiming to be from a government agency and that you owe them money, that's immediately a scam. And it's also a scam if you get an email, because they don't, those agencies don't use email, do they?
They don't, not directly like that. I mean, they may send you informational things, newsletters, but they're not going to reach out and send you a solicitation or any sort of past due payment. All that stuff, like you said, is going to come through snail mail because that's the way the government does business. Email is too unregulated and uncontrolled for them to use it as a medium to send official documents and official information to.
Right. So people just have to understand that these things are just absolute scams and that they just have to be really, really careful with this kind of stuff. Best thing is to just hang up. You get a call like that and just typically you just need to hang up. So we just want to let everybody, and go ahead, Lewis.
Well, I was going to say, and don't be fooled by text messages that purportedly come from the Social Security Administration as well, because sometimes they're just basically buying a shotgun to thousands of cell phones with the same text message, hoping that one or two people will respond saying, oh my gosh, no, yes, what do I need to do to make sure I don't go to jail? Right. So the IRS will not text you either.
And they're not going to send a federal marshal to your house,
yes.
Based on a phone call. So hopefully that helps a few folks. Now, the other thing we want to talk about today is your experience during the power outage that we had a couple weeks ago and how your solar system and Tesla Powerwall worked. So tell us about that, because you guys lost your power out there.
Like a lot of people on the peninsula, we lost our power in the morning of Sunday. That was that day that we had all those serious storms. If you recall, it was raining and it was really windy. Trees were being uprooted. Get home from the Bay Area where we'd been and noticed that our power was out. But the only reason we noticed was because we got an alert, a text alert from PG&E saying that the power was out. By the time we got home, we were able to go in the house and we still had lights and we still had, the fridge was still powered up because we have a solar power system that was installed by Scudder Roofing, my good friend Pete Scudder. They convinced us to also get a Tesla wall battery pack. And as long as you have a battery pack attached to your solar system, when the power goes off, when the grid goes down, your solar system continues to generate electricity, but it now feeds it to the battery that then feeds it to your house. If you don't have a battery, there's a failsafe that immediately stops allowing energy to be absorbed from the solar panels because they don't want that to go into the grid and potentially electrocute somebody that's trying to work on down power lines. So if you have a battery pack that continues to feed the house, so we had power all day that day, and by the time we went to bed, we were working off power from the battery pack. Monday morning we wake up, same thing, the power's still out, but we still have power. The battery pack was down to about 40% total power, but then as the sun rose that day, despite the fact that it was a very cloudy day, it started to recharge the battery, and so by the time the power returned later that evening, about 6:30, we'd never lost power. So it was kind of comforting. At the same time, I felt bad for my neighbors who didn't have the same services, but if you have thought about getting solar and getting a battery pack, I can tell you it's kind of peace of mind. You don't have to worry so much about when the power goes out.
Right. And you should think about that, or at least a generator, some sort of backup power, because in the event of a long-term power outage where the food spoils in your refrigerator, everybody should know that the utility PG&E will send you $100 to cover the loss of like $1,000 worth of food that you have on hand.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, don't count on getting reimbursed from PG&E for the loss of any sort of food or anything else that spoils in your house.
Yeah, so that's an important thing. So if folks want to know more about this, can they get in touch with you guys through the website at alvareztg.com?
Yep, be happy to give them some information and direct them to people that can they can talk to about getting solar installed and taking advantage of those solar credits that are still available.
All right, sounds great. That's Luis Alvarez, CEO of the Alvarez Technology Group, joining us today on Power Talk. Online, it's alvareztg.com, at alvareztg. That's the X handle, and you want to follow them. There's always a lot of good stuff that comes down the line there. And Luis, the toll-free number for the I-Team.
Give us a call at 866-78-I-Team. That's 866-784-8326.